At its core, the road to serfdom is about the dangers of central planning. Hayek argues that when the state takes over the economy, controlling wages, production, and resources, it inevitably leads to authoritarian rule. Here's why. Central planning requires central control. Imagine you're running a massive economy. You control what gets produced, how much people get paid, and which industries succeed or fail. But what happens when people disagree? What if businesses don't want to follow your plan? What if workers demand higher wages? What if consumers want something different? To keep the system working, the government has to force compliance, more regulations, more restrictions, and eventually more police powers. This is where freedom starts to disappear. In a free market, if you don't like your job, you quit and find another one. If you don't like a company's product, you buy from a competitor. But under central planning, there is no competition. There is only the government. If the government assigns you a job, you can't leave. If the government produces bad products, you can't choose something else. This is why Hayek said, the more the state plans, the more difficult planning becomes for the individual. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what if we just put the right people in charge? This is where Hayek makes one of his most chilling arguments. In a free society, people rise to power through merit, competition, and persuasion. But in a planned economy, power goes to those who are willing to enforce the plan at any cost. Hayek explains that authoritarian systems reward ruthlessness, deception, and control. Leaders who hesitate, who listen to critics, or who respect dissent don't last long. The people who rise to the top in a totalitarian system are those most willing to use force to silence opposition. Think about it. A government with unlimited power needs enforcers, whether that's secret police, censorship agencies, or propaganda networks. Over time, the most ruthless individuals climb the ranks, while the ethical ones are pushed out. That's why Hayek warns, the worst get on top. Is planning inevitable? Can planning work? One of the most common counter-arguments is, well, some government planning is necessary, right? Hayek actually agreed, to an extent. He wasn't against all government intervention. He supported laws that prevent fraud, protect property rights, and ensure fair competition. What he opposed was top-down, centralized economic control, where bureaucrats, not individuals, make decisions. He believed competition and free markets are the best way to allocate resources because they allow millions of people to make their own choices, rather than relying on a handful of politicians. This is why Hayek argues the government should act as a referee, not as a player. So, if the road to serfdom is government overreach, what is the road to freedom? For Hayek, the answer was clear. Protect private property. Encourage free markets. Limit government control over the economy. Ensure the rule of law applies equally to all. When people are free to innovate, create, and trade without excessive government interference, societies prosper. But when governments overreach, no matter how well-intentioned, they risk setting their citizens on the road to serfdom. The road to serfdom's warning is more relevant than ever. Every time a government expands its power, no matter how good the reason, it's worth asking, where does this road lead? Do you agree with Hayek? Or do you think more central planning is necessary? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this breakdown insightful, hit like and subscribe for more deep dives into books that shape our world. I'll leave you with this thought from Hayek. We shall not grow wiser before we learn that much that we have done was very foolish.